This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The drippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Rachel Casella standing by, caller 9844999. Olo will play Profile This coming up in minutes. And we do have your headlines on the way 1 hour from now. First, quick check-in to Mike Hawk for some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, a man in New York recently pulled a gun on a cashier and threatened to, quote, blow his head off, then stole a bag of Cheetos and left.
A bag of Cheetos?
A bag of Cheetos.
Threatened to blow your head off for a bag of Cheetos.
Every man has his price, I guess.
I guess so. I mean, dang, I'd be offended by that. You're telling me my life's worth a bag of Cheetos and that's it?
I mean, it seems real aggressive to threaten somebody with a weapon, you're going to blow their head off, and then steal Cheetos.
Kind of what I'm saying, Ted.
It seems like you would have stole the Cheetos first. He confronts you, go, back up, I'll blow you away.
Right. That's still unreasonable, but that makes a hell of a lot more sense.
Right, but he came in and was like,
Came in hot.
I swear I'll blow you away. Now I'm stealing these Cheetos.
What was his name? Chester Cheetah.
Would you steal Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Yes, I would.
But hold up a man at gunpoint.
No, I would not hold up a man at gunpoint. I'll threaten to stab you for Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but I would not shoot anyone. Well, tequila, sure.
I'm trying to think, like, what food would I pull a gun on somebody for?
Right? What food is
so
good?
Up with? What did you come up with? What was your first thought?
Chicken wings, maybe?
I don't know. Chicken. I feel like it had to be some really high-end barbecue.
Fried chicken,
Okay,
I would.
but
I would for chicken, man.
Okay.
But fried chicken is stuff you could find everywhere. Like, if I'm going to pull out a weapon and hold
but I
it
still
up,
want that fried chicken. Once you get a whiff of it, man, you're
You
like, give me
can
some
get
fried
Cheetos
chicken.
anywhere.
yeah,
There's
that's what
no
I'm saying.
bottom to this, man.
what I'm
We
saying.
started with Cheetos. No
Barbecue.
matter what you say, you sound better than this guy.
Barbecue, you spent 12 hours smoking it. All right,
Look,
it's a hold up.
if you didn't just get a little bag of Cheetos from the vending machine, okay?
Yeah.
You never buy a big bag of Cheetos. No one ever buys a big bag of Cheetos. You know why? Because you'd eat the entire bag of Cheetos.
That's it.
If that Cheeto little bag was bigger, you'd eat more of it. And you'd eat more of it. More of it.
That's why they have the size in between called the grab bag.
Right.
And you
I
still
think you
spend
guys-
20
And
minutes
you still
sucking
eat the whole thing. And if they gave you the whole big one, you'd eat all that.
That's it.
Cheetos are, they're tough to get out of.
I think you guys are working too hard. I'd call a pizza delivery guy and then meet him at the door with a gun. Give me the pizza.
Wow, you brought the crime to you. I like that. That's the lazy girl. You won't even go somewhere and hold them up. You're going to bring them to your home and then throw it. I like how you work,
Like,
man.
I will say, you'll be one. I have heard of people holding up pizza delivery guys for money. Like, you're just like, give me that pizza.
I'd still tip the delivery guy,
Right,
too.
and here's your change.
Here's $5 for gas. Thank you. Now leave.
Here's your tip. I'm not paying for the pizza.
A pregnant woman in Atlanta recently did her maternity photo shoot at a Taco Bell, and photos are going viral. She's been craving their food the entire time she's been pregnant and says she wanted to pay tribute.
Get me Taco Bell. I'm eating for two. Me and the parasite you
I'm
put
curious
inside
to
of
find
me.
out what other moments in life that you need a photography shoot for, but I guess that would be one of them.
That's how much she wants Taco Bell, man.
Yeah.
But you got to have one. You got to have a, right? You got to take
Senior
a bunch of
pictures, probably.
Yeah.
Right, but that's always been there. But it seems, I don't know.
Maternity is fleeting, Miles.
I know that. It's a special
It
time.
lasts
Don't get
for
me wrong.
9 freaking months, man.
But don't you take a picture with, like, you and I get, like, posting a picture of, like, here's my belly. It just seems like the photographers are making out on this deal. Now you got to
Absolutely.
pay for an extra thing.
They're going to convince you it's important. Does anyone ever take a picture like where they're not showing and that's your pregnancy picture? Like, I just found out I'm pregnant. I'm not showing it all.
No,
Right.
you can't do that. You got to wait. You got to wait to make sure everything's okay.
All of us have a mother. That's how we got here, right?
Sure.
Has anybody in this room ever been like, hey, Mom, do you have a picture of what you look like when you were pregnant with me? Really
There
need to
I
see
am.
that.
There I am.
You might want a picture, like, see what your mom looked like in college when she was younger and partying, but I'm like, it just seems like a very
Yeah,
specific
but I've
request.
seen it. I've seen it because I have an older brother. So invariably, they're taking a picture of him, but she's there, and then there I am, hiding under a moo-moo.
Well, the second one, it doesn't matter. The second one doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, the first,
yeah.
the first kid gets all the pictures, all the attention. You're just the afterthought.
I like it that way, though.
Yeah.
I just, for that purpose, Ted, like you were saying, if you would ever, like, I don't know why you would, but hey, Mom, is there any pictures of when you were pregnant with me?
I want to see me in your belly.
If you give me a photo, I'm going to ask why you're in Taco Bell.
Well, see, that part doesn't seem strange.
You're
to me.
obviously posed, though. It's not just, hey, you're standing at the counter ordering. You're posed inside of a Taco Bell.
And I'm guessing the end of this conversation goes like this. And, Mom, the only reason I'm asking is because you said you can't afford college.
Yeah.
That's where you spent your money, was a photo shoot at Taco Bell. So I'm not criticizing you. I'm just saying maybe there's better places to spend that money.
Okay, in that defense, how much college money do you think is really blown on Taco Bell? I mean, you could fill yourself up on Taco Bell for nothing.
She did a photo shoot, Mike.
Most college money is blown on the team's defensive coordinator.
That's where your tuition goes.
A Catholic church in Albuquerque, New Mexico had to lower the volume of its church bells after people in the neighborhood complained. They started at 6 a.m. and rang several times a day, and at 8 a.m. they played a full rendition of Amazing Grace.
They played a full rendition.
Every day?
Bong, bong, bong,
Several
bong,
times a day.
Bong, 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 bong. Yeah, I would lose my mind, too.
Remember the good old days of it's noon, ding dong.
Yeah, like if it's Sunday and you're having service, I get in the church firing off the bells a little more, but at 6 a.m. seems awfully early.
Hey, man, when we first moved to Seattle, we lived directly across the street. We did not realize this at the time. From, like, the Catholic cathedral in town, all right? And we're like, that's cool. What a beautiful building. You look out your window. Stunning building. Our first Sunday here, I'm like, I'm going to go in there and beat someone's ass, man. They rang those bells. It was so goddamn loud. No, it's every Sunday. They started at 6, right?
Did it start at, I think it was 8 6 or 9, but...
Oh, they were still going by then, man. I'm pretty sure every Sunday at 6. Like, come on!
I want to go back to the days where you tone how many chimes you need for the hour, and then there's a guy on top that shouts the time, and all is well. I don't know why.
You want to go way back.
I do, man. I want to feel safe.
Is it just because he's yelling all is well?
Yes.
As he's chewing his fingernails and looking around nervously.
Like, what's the Disney movie, Quasimodo or whatever?
Oh, yeah, the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
All is not well.
Right.
Well, that's why he didn't say it, Ted. He was just ringing bells. Things were going wrong. If he doesn't say it, then things are going wrong.
All right.
I can look past your humpback.
Say it.
We actually just do the 60 position.
Earlier this month, lottery officials in Florida announced that the man who recently hit a Mega Millions jackpot for $450 million is 20 years old.
Yes, he is. Yeah. And retired.
Right? Fresh out of high school. Bam. Retired.
Hey, look. In a weird way, I'm glad he's got his whole life ahead of him to blow it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wish I had that opportunity.
Right. And too often you hear about the one that hit the $450 million jackpot is the 79-year-old woman.
Oh, that one pisses me off. Like, come on, man.
This dude just with his girlfriend in Florida. He's like,
right.
Like, it just kind of looks like, yeah, give him the money.
Ex-girlfriend.
Whatever.
Yeah. As of today.
Sorry.
Sometime soon.
Like,
we know how that goes.
right. His dating pool just got a lot,
a lot deeper.
Right. Like, a lot of beautiful women in that pool now.
So like we said, ugly and rich.
This one just reads, teens...
By the way, I got to say, I don't care what age they are. Anytime they put, like, he won this lottery or she won this lottery in their age, you're going to be like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Should have given it to somebody my age, 37.
Right.
This one just reads, teens, please stop eating laundry detergent.
Yes, and it's from Procter & Gamble.
There's some sort of a challenge going around where apparently you need to eat it. I'm not working on it, so I don't know why you need to eat it.
Actually eating it, though? This started like a week ago. It's all that has to do with the goddamn pineapple on pizza. So everybody keeps going off on that. So somebody took a frozen pizza, put the Tide Pods on. Tide
Pods, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
so I thought it was just a joke, and now by this week, people are like, don't eat them. Like, did anybody actually eat these things? Are we not that smart?
Little kids accidentally, but not on a dare.
And Procter & Gamble goes out of the way to make them look like they'd be the most delicious thing they could eat.
Yeah.
So I get little kids, but don't worry, they now have a zip bag. That's the commercial. They still look delicious, but we put them in a zip bag.
And I gotta say,
it'll take your kids at least 20 minutes to get to them now.
Was it taking that much time to pour detergent into a cup that into it?
No.
It really was, Ted. It's just,
Now, Mike, you're right. It wasn't. But I'll tell you what, I'm a slave to those pods. Use them all the time.
Drop the thing in there.
Mm-hmm.
But now people are eating them.
Right. Like, now that I say that out loud.
Did I not put the pot in?
Did you see anybody chugging that gallon of all?
I put the pot in, then I jump back down there and I start digging. I'm pretty sure I put the pot in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then I'm like, oh, here's the pod. I'm high. Okay, I put the pot in. Sometimes I put 2 pods in. That's why I got to look.
We go to California where a car was found in the second story of a dental office. How it got up there, I will tell you 1 hour from now.
Thank you, Mike Hawk. Headlines are on the way 1 hour from now. First, the game is...
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Steve, throw a hug and please tell everyone how Profile This is played.
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Josh. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hey.
Hola.
Hola.
All right, Josh, you understand how this here game is played?
Yes.
We have a 22-year-old guy and his 18-year-old friend. They were playing guitars outside of a youth center in Akron, Ohio, when an 11-year-old kid started an argument with him. Well, then the boy's mother, a 31-year-old woman, she pulled up in the car along with her other kid, who's 15. And instead of being the adult, she started arguing with the guys playing guitar, too. Then she watched as her 15-year-old son picked up his brother's bike and swung it at the two guys, hitting one of them in the head. And while the two boys kicked that dude while he's on the ground, the mom hit the 18-year-old across the face with the tire pressure gauge. The story continues. Now, someone eventually ran in and broke up the fight, but not before the older of the two men actually suffered serious head injuries. As it turns out, this all started when the 11-year-old asked the two men for a cigarette, and they refused to give the 11-year-old child a cigarette. Now, it's not clear if the mother knew that, but we wouldn't be surprised. And by the way, the mother was also arrested in 2010 for child endangerment, then again in 2011 after one of her other kids fell through a second-story window. She and her two sons are now facing charges for assault, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, do you believe that this woman and her two sons are black, white, Mexi, or Asian?
Where did you say it was again?
Outside of Akron, Ohio.
Ted, what do you think?
Man, I'm not positive on this one. I mean, Akron could be anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Akron's going to be white and black.
Yeah, as I said.
Yeah, for the most part, sure.
For some reason, I think of Akron as being a black town.
LeBron did it.
Well, I've never been to Ohio. I've never been to Ohio, but just how the family got involved and that I would say I'm thinking black.
Final answer.
Black, final answer.
All right, we're going to find out if they were black, white, Mexi, or Asian next.
That was a tease.
You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Hola, bitches. You're listening to the Men's Room.
Profile This today takes us to Akron, Ohio, and a 11-year-old who rolls up to two guys, two high schoolers, teens, I guess, playing guitar on the street. Asked those guys for a cigarette, and of course they say, no, you're 11 years old, we're not going to give you that. But either way, they got into a bit of an altercation. I guess the mom either pulled up looking for him with his brother.
Yeah, the mom shows up with her 15-year-old son. The 15-year-old son climbs out of the car, picks up the 11-year-old brother's bike, smashes one of the dudes in the head with it. Mom has no problem with this. In the end, the entire family from ages, 11 to 15, and the mom, who I believe they said is 31. She's 31 years old. So all of them are in trouble. We said, do you believe that this family is black, white, Mexi, or Asian? And you said, man, the family got involved. I'm feeling black.
No.
White. Yes.
I got Miles and I are both in shock.
Golly.
White?
No, you know, man, to me,
if you asked me who the two guys were on the street playing guitar, acoustically, I'd be like, white. No doubt about it.
Do we know what kind? And we don't know what kind of cigarette he asked for or how he asked for it.
we don't know. You know what, man? And the only reason I would have guessed white personally, aside from knowing the answer to the story, it could go either way, right? And there's a lot of indication of who you might think it is based on stereotypes we believe to be true. But the one time that I, as an adult, have been asked by a child for a cigarette, there's a little white kid in Baltimore. Hey, man, and probably about 11 years old. You got a cigarette, man? Because he saw me smoking. I just stepped off the bus and I looked at him. I was like, nah, man. I mean, like, come on.
You can't
come
do
on.
it.
I mean, this was a kid.
You can't do it.
Dude, I did the same thing. You know when you're like old enough to go get tobacco?
I'll sell you some crack.
We were like 18 or something. The kid was just too young.
Yeah.
But in typical
like,
PG
come
County
on,
fashion,
man.
like outside of 7-Eleven, I was like, no, man. And when I came out, he was like, you a little bit. And he just went off. And I was like, all right.
I'm not going to buy it for you.
Right? Like, I'm just like, God damn it.
Now I'm feeling bad because I didn't buy an an 11-year-old a 12
Right,
pound
what are you
beer.
supposed to do?
And I was
I'm
calling you a
19,
bitch.
right? Yeah, I can't.
You ain't nothing but a
exactly.
bitch. Like, man.
Thanks a
Why you
lot.
being such a pea?
Now for all the TV news all the time, it's time for a little TV time with Tim.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box,
Armageddon.
the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
You're working at a news station, right? And you're a weatherman. I should mention this to people. I got into this conversation this weekend. I didn't know people didn't know this. There is a difference between being a weather person and being a meteorologist.
Big difference. You have a
absolutely.
degree in meteorology.
There's being a chef
There's
and a cook.
only
I
a
mean,
handful of
that's-
schools that even offer that degree in the United States. One of them being Penn State, I guess, has one of the best programs.
All right. So I was talking to somebody, and they were like, well, why, you really need a degree to be a meteorologist? I was like, yes. How have
yes.
you never heard that? Like, that's the distinction between a weather person and...
Look, you're the head chef, but there's only one of you, all right?
Yeah.
Everyone else, it's not that they can't be chefs. It's not that they aren't chefs, but right now, you're the head chef of where you work, right?
Correct.
So it's the same way. Like most news channels, well, they used to. I don't know what their strategy is now. Probably a good-looking woman. But it used to be meteorologist, didn't matter, male, female, whatever. You just had that degree, and then everything else was like coming up, Kerry Johnson's exclusive, accurate meteorological forecast. But it was the guy on the show or the woman on the show who was the meteorologist.
No, if you're a meteorologist, Jesus Christ, it's the equivalent of being an Oscar winner. That will precede your name. Because if they say, coming up, get all of your weather with our very own Miles Montgomery. All right. Or if you actually are a meteorologist, and check your local news, any of the stations, 100% of the time, meteorologist Miles Montgomery has your report. They will say it just like if you're an Oscar winner.
Some of the people that work on the weekends will still be meteorologists.
Absolutely.
So you'll notice some news stations will have a chief meteorologist.
Yes.
Like he's the head dude.
The head chef. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So it's just, I didn't know people didn't actually know that.
I figured, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you didn't know, now you do.
They were like, oh, yeah? Well, if you were a meteorologist, where would you get that degree? I was like, I don't know, man. Like
In
Stanford?
college?
Yeah.
The cooks in the
Isn't that
restaurant.
crazy?
If the cooks in the restaurant, if they can make whatever the hell they want, they make whatever they like. But the head chef tells them what to cook, what's on the menu, how it's done.
Here's
Basically,
the difference.
The chief meteorologist does the same thing. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what we put out.
But this is how
Here's
you
what we
can tell.
say. People across the street are wrong.
If you want to know who's a meteorologist versus a weather person, when there's a significant weather event, listen how they describe it. All right. So if they're like, ooh, man, really big hurricane is headed toward Houston. We're going to give it this name. This is bad. Winds above. Meteorologist then, when he's done telling you that stuff, they break it down because deep down inside, they're very excited. This is what they study.
Yeah, man.
And they
talk about pressure.
nerd. Oh my God, they nerd out. They pull up graphics you never knew they had. Man, they fight to not smile while they're telling you about a devastating hurricane.
I'm a weather guy. I get it.
Yeah. So this weatherman.
You say that like Leatherman.
I know. He's a weatherman.
Like a knife.
Most people say like weatherman. You're like weatherman.
Weatherman.
Yeah, it's a weatherman.
He's a weatherman.
So this guy's down at KTVU. It's in the Bay Area. And he's just given a normal little forecast, and then a little buddy shows up.
Still some stubborn overcast here over the city. Look at this.
He's totally checking out the camera, Mark.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
Like a crow.
I might need a little more time for this weather segment because we have a little visitor.
There he goes.
It's like, okay, I've seen it. I'm
Perfect
done.
timing. That's
Outta
all.
here.
That was a little short-lived visit, but interesting there. So our live.
All right. So the video's up on the Men's Room Facebook page. You can check it out. He's really, as he's doing that and he stops. Like you've seen like birds get near the camera or whatever. That's like a crow or something. But he just puts his head over and now he's just staring into the camera. It's like, as that guy's doing it, like, now you just see this bird's head.
They have a shot of whatever's
just
behind
standing in
him,
there.
but instead of that camera shot, then the crow puts his head down and is just kind of looking. And the crow's as big as, the wall that they're walking in front of.
I do have one question. If you work in television news, and you can even tell me anonymously, are anchors contractually obligated to laugh like because it just doesn't seem natural. Mm-hmm. But it only happens with local news anchors.
Well, the problem is,
the only
if they have
people
a
that
legit laugh, then it goes viral.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like, there's certain
laugh.
things like we have to do sometimes. We were talking about it where I was like, I'm not trying to sound like that radio person, but you can't help it.
Sure.
So I think on the desk, like, I think some of them are a little looser than we think. But Yeah, it seems like anytime you have a real reaction and laugh, it's going to go viral.
It's going to throw
quick.
everybody off because they're not used to being real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For the most part. They have to stick to the script. They have to stick with time. They don't have a lot of ad-lib time. And when they do, it's often awkward as hell.
Oh, boy.
Because they're not used to being live. They're used to just reading everything.
Obviously, some of the bigger news lately has been the NFL football playoffs.
Sure.
Anytime there's huge plays, you could always listen to the national feed, and it's pretty good. But whenever you can listen to the local feed of those people describing the play, it's going to be awesome. So you have the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota, keep in mind, has never won a Super Bowl. They've been there
4 times.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say a few times.
4.
The Super Bowl this year is in Minnesota. If the Vikings could win, this would be a major thing. So the Vikings are playing over the weekend. The game is basically over, right? The Saints are winning the game. They throw a last-second pass.
It's not even a Hail Mary. If you didn't see, it's not even like you threw it into the end zone.
They're trying to get in field goal range.
You're trying to get. You just want the guy to go out of bounds, and then history happens.
Is this radio or TV?
This is the local radio play-by-play guy.
I was going to say,
Allen.
you say TV's bad. It's not bad. It's just the fact that I think that radio is that much better when they have to describe the game that you can't see.
Well, sure.
So it seems like the excitement's always better on radio.
Oh, he's fired up. And keep in mind, as this play happens, time expires.
24-23 Saints. Vikings at their own 39. It's third down. Case on a deep drop. Steps up in the pocket. He'll fire to the right side. Caught by Diggs. Stay up. Oh, he got loose. Oh, my God. 30. No. 10. Touchdown. Are you kidding me? It's a Minneapolis miracle. Stephon Diggs and the Minnesota Vikings have walked up on the New Orleans Saints. It's a 61-yard Minneapolis miracle. I can't believe what I just saw, Paul Allen. What an unbelievable play. Yes! Are you kidding me? Look at these Vikings coaches. Yes! Let's go to Philadelphia.
Paul, when it's your year, it's your year. That's all I got to say.
Let's go to
Diggs, what an
Philadelphia.
unbelievable play.
It's going to be 48 and drizzly, and we're bringing a purple rain.
Oh, he's fired up.
He had been sitting on that for years, dude.
I finally get to say it.
Right? He's like, finally, we have this moment where
I wrote the purple rain line in 1987.
Skull, brother. Skull.
God. I will say, the pure enjoyment in those two guys' voices.
But did you hear how quiet the crowd was initially, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, including me, I don't watch the game. And I thought, game over, whatever, do your thing. And that crowd, there was no sound. And then my man breaks, and that place goes crazy.
Yeah. Stephon Diggs went to the University of Maryland. He went to good counsel, so we don't talk about that part. But he's a Terp, so he liked that. I do got to wonder, that guy from the Saints. I mean, that play is going to follow him for a long time. Like, why did you go low and duck underneath Diggs?
You went low, you ducked, you whiffed, you missed, and you closed your eyes. Every single thing that they would tell you to not do is precisely what you did.
And when you watch that
took out your own player. So even if he had just whiffed on that play, there's another guy from the Saints, maybe 1 yard away from, right? And all he had to do, push him, shove him, trip him up, anything, game's over. But you dove, and even if he didn't move, he would have missed anyway.
Yeah.
And you took out the ankles of your own player. So now, literally, there is no one that can touch this guy. And no offense, and look, there's a million plays in the game, but on that play, you cost your team.
But even Diggs looks surprised.
He was.
Like, he jumps up and catches that ball. And when he lands, and he said this, you could tell when another human goes underneath you.
Yeah.
But he's like, I kind of felt him going, but when he puts his hand down,
there's no one there.
You can tell in his body, right. And I mean, people,
he's waiting to get hit.
Keep in mind, there's 2 or 3 seconds. So everybody's yelling, get out of bounds so we can kick the field goal. He's smart enough to just
stay in and go.
All right, that play, it goes down in history.
Here's the other crazy question, right? So the NFL that goes on and on about how they're against gambling, not doing gambling, this and that, right?
BS.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? And then, the Super Bowl is one of the most gambled things on in the world.
And they know it.
I don't understand. The game is over. Why is it you have to come out and kick that extra point?
Because in the event of a touchdown with a gun sounds, you still have to try for the extra point.
I just don't understand in the case where it's not like it would be a tie if you don't do this. And also,
right.
There is no
it
time
gives
left.
the opportunity for the other team to still somehow touch the football.
in theory, but that's false because nobody is going. If you fire off on that last play,
You
that
fumble
makes
the ball and the other team goes
No, I'm
down.
saying if you're on defense and you fire off when they snap that thing, that makes you a piece of crap. That makes you a
You have
bad
to in that,
horse.
but in that situation,
but they
you have
don't. Nobody does. That's my point. They need to change that rule. Like I hear what you're saying in theory. But everybody knew they were going to kneel on it. The Saints barely trotted back out there, and we're just like, all right. Like
They put guys back out there who weren't even in their playing positions just to get guys in the field to line up so they can make that play happen.
Just a mere oversight.
Did you know, speaking of Vegas, you know the end result of that?
Right, because they kneeled on it. They didn't kick it. So then...
they didn't cover the spread.
They didn't cover the
Right,
five
they didn't
and a
cover the
half.
spread.
And so basically, if you bet on the Saints, you won.
So I'm just saying, outside of gambling, I don't fathom why you need to go out there and redo that.
You don't.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right.
Right, because, again, in theory, it seems like it'd be fair, but it's like, nobody's doing that.
The only reason that it could be is that if the team that scores, let's just say that they're down by 1, instead of winning, okay, flat out point-wise. So what they're saying is, like, look, you have one more play remaining. You can go out and kick an extra point. You can go for 2.
Sure.
The play will happen. You have an option to go out there and play one final play. The game can't end on that kind of a score. So it's the reverse scenario more so than the opposite end, why that rule's in place. Not where if you're winning by 5, 4, 3, 4,
Sure.
5, they can't get you.
The game was over.
But in the other...
there's nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
There's not.
That was my
If
whole
you're
point.
behind, it helps. If you're
And
ahead,
it
it
took
doesn't matter.
10 minutes.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
No,
I just think
it took 8.5.
I think at some point you should have some discrepancy.
Let it go.
You could be, the ref could use his own discretion and go, you know what? This game is over. Or even if the Saints go, you know, we don't care. They're going to kneel on it. We're not going to try. Like, okay.
But I will say this. My brother being an official, if the ref made that call, you might never see him again.
No. I'm saying they should let the refs do that.
Absolutely, they should let them.
Yeah.
But if he said, look, man, it really doesn't matter. And trust me, that dude, I guarantee you, is like, I don't give an F about this. I have one thing I need to do. Can we just get it done? Otherwise, I get in trouble, even though it's meaningless.
I mean, just for me, if I'm playing for the Saints, we blow that game. It's been 8.5, 10 minutes. Like, my pads are off, and the NFL could...
No, I said this to Miles earlier. I said, man, I got to hand it to the Saints players that jogged back on the field. That's the last thing on earth. They felt like they were classy about it, just came out like, all right, you know. But yeah, I'd be hating life. Like, man, a game like that? Okay, I'll be right out.
Right?
I'll be right out. Keep waiting.
Like, they'd be like, Smitty, how did you get out of those pads so quick? And where did you get that beer? Like, season's over, coach.
Right. It's done. Cleaned out my locker and everything.
Right? Oh, do we need the helmet? Mine's in the dumpster.
I pooped in mine.
All right. Minnesota obviously waited a while to try to get into the playoffs to do something. They still got a lot of work to do, right? You still got to go win the NFC Championship, then win the big game.
They played a great first half. Not such a great second half. They came on, and for most part, the Saints came out and beat them.
Yeah.
You know?
Until they didn't.
But Minnesota's been waiting a while. Like most places, they've never won a championship and won a championship. So you get that, right? With sports, you got to kind of put in your time, see what happens, and this and that. Now, for TV shows, generally you don't have to do that. Well, Game of Thrones is not your general TV show. Its final season. Basically, look, I'm going to cut to the quick. You Game of Thrones people have another year before you're going to see that show.
Typically when they do that, it goes by quicker than you think, and then, you know.
I don't know, man. I'd be like, come on, dude. Just freaking give it to you. Because by the time
You're
you get
talking
back...
16 months between season 7 and 8, and possibly upwards of 2 years.
Well, as long as it's quality. I mean, one of my favorite shows is Curb Your Enthusiasm. It took, how many years did it take for Larry to go through that divorce?
But they weren't concluding anything. No. They were coming back.
Right. There was no...
I mean, that's the difference.
I'm not on the hook for what's going to happen.
Right. If he never came back, you go, hey, it used to be a great show. But he came back, you go, oh, that's cool. Well, Game of Thrones, no, there's some stuff you want to know. We know that. We'll get right to... It'd be like Ted coming out of the locker room. We'll be right there. Game of Thrones, it's coming right up.
Well, and the other good news, too, is you could wait at worst up to 2 years for new episodes, or 16 months. And then the good news is when that final season comes out, it's only 6 episodes.
Oh, wow. They better be long ones.
Damn, man. You got to wait 16 months.
So are they doing 12? And
they hit
pushing
your
it
ass
back to
with
the
6
next year or
episodes. That is like an thank you for watching the show so loyally. Suck my D. 6 episodes, bitch.
Call this one Game of Bones.
You waited 16 months for this. Bam.
2 years to wait. And at the end of it's like, and here's 6 episodes.
Yeah. Dinosaurs.
Guys really went all out on that one, didn't you?
Damn.
Kind of sad news here. Jerry Van Dyke passed away. Now, Jerry Van Dyke, first of all, for somebody like me, his name is famous just because of him and his brother Dick Van Dyke.
Sure.
Which I went through phases where, like, you heard Dick Van Dyke, laughed, and then I understood just like him and his brother were like this great comedy duo that did a bunch of stuff. But honestly, to me, Jerry Van Dyke will always just be Luther Van Dam from the show Coach.
Yes, he is.
He was great.
Right, and like I'm guessing Mike probably didn't watch Coach. It's probably a little right. So not only was Luther Van Dam like the greatest character on there, but the other crazy thing was Craig T. Nelson, because Craig T. Nelson as a child to me was Coach. He coached Minnesota State. Like he kind of was surly sometimes, but he was Craig T. Nelson. And then as an adult, I've noticed almost everything he's in, he's just a real a-hole. So
yeah, that's kind of what he does.
Yeah, I think he's got to be an a-hole in real life.
I don't think he is, man. I think, look, he's got the face to play an a-hole, and he knows how to play an a-hole. But I think
it's
in real
like an
life,
Alec Baldwin thing.
I think Alec Baldwin, like, basically just hand him a script and say, be you.
That Paul Sorvino and talking about Harvey Weinstein is going to treat him like a mob boss because that's how we know him. Like, I think there's a little bit of blurred and not saying that I don't think he is a mob boss and he wouldn't beat his ass. All of these scenarios are believable in my world of the blurred lines of who this person is. Are they a character? Or are they playing themselves?
See, there's like Jeremy Piven, I think he's probably a douchebag.
Yeah.
He's playing
himself,
Nelson,
right?
though. Craig, for whatever, and I might be dead wrong about this. He strikes me as a guy who enjoys playing that kind of guy because he's not. Like the fun of acting is that he just gets to be this way.
I just feel like the overall bulk of his work is him being an a-hole, and then the one where he's nice is Coach.
Well, let me tell you one of the reasons. Tom Hanks, right? And always plays a very decent guy in any movie. Real life, serial killer.
Yeah.
Very few people know. But when he acts in a movie, we're like, man, that's a guy I want to eat lunch with. But in real life, he would eat you.
Thank you, Ted. There we go. TV Time with Ted. We've got your headlines coming up with Mike Hawk. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. This is true. Procter & Gamble is now asking teens to not eat Tide Pods. Meanwhile, a plane in Turkey slides off the runway headed to the sea as passengers pray to their gods. Lawyer's grammatical error so bad judge sends him to school teacher to review his work. My terrible boss is submitting stories about how your boss is being a jerk. And a car goes airborne in Orange County into the second floor of a dentist's office. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's Mike Hawk.
All right, our top story in Santa Ana, California. Admittedly under the influence of narcotics while driving, a man lost control of his car and hit a center median head-on, causing the car to fly into the air and land in the second story of a dental office building nearby. Hours later, crews were able to free the occupants and bring the car down. The two inside were treated for minor injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, most people I know have been under the influence of something at least one of the times they've driven. But it doesn't make your car airborne, man.
No.
Oh, I saw a guy pop up last weekend on one of those half concrete ball tires they use here in Seattle.
Oh, those stupid things, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Going around the turn in Fremont, man. Popped it up. The whole, he's on two wheels, basically, for like a second.
Damn.
I'm like, I told you, like, I've been talking about this for years.
Yes, if you embed half a bowling ball in the middle of a road.
How can we launch this car in the middle of the road?
My grandfather did it. He went through an intersection and hit the accelerator instead of the brakes and ran up on somebody.
Got airborne?
And got airborne and then went into somebody's lawn.
Well, that's different than 6 inches of driver error on the street. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. But it leaves a pretty neat picture, though.
yeah, it does.
I mean, it looks like something out of like an Avengers movie.
It really does. Like Hulk threw a car into a building.
That's how you should park at the dentist office. Like, I don't want to be here.
I'm here.
Around the world, more about vehicles going off the rails. We go to Turkey, where a commercial plane's landing was less than graceful. Upon landing, a loud noise was heard and the plane began to swerve, eventually losing landing gear. The plane began to skid off of the runway completely, bound for the Black Sea next to it. Luckily, it stopped short and just dangled there while crews were able to successfully unload everyone inside safely.
I get the feeling the Black Sea referred to everyone's underwear when they thought they're about to skate off the end of a runway and plunge into water.
I mean, when you think about it, what are the most two nerve-wracking times on a plane? Takeoff and landing.
Oh, I was going to say either caught masturbating or caught smoking in the bathroom. But, Mike, you're probably right.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me nervous. I just wait for those wheels to touch and then that huge brake that they hit.
Right, so it's like, still not going, cool, yeah, I wasn't scared the whole time.
You ever been inside of a small plane behind the wing and then you can actually see the smoke coming off the tire?
I have not seen that, Mike, nor would I like to.
It's a little nerve-wracking, let me tell you. Moving on. Filing a legal complaint just got a little more complicated. A judge in Florida has rejected a legal filing, agreeing with opposing attorneys that the letter was incomprehensible, literally. Citing broken sentences, grammatical spelling, and punctuation errors, the judge gave the accuser another shot at making the filing, but required him to include an approval from a certified English teacher in order for it to be accepted in the court.
This judge is the guy on Twitter who corrects everyone.
No, I think this judge goes, hey, man, this is the court of law.
Yeah.
Get it right. But really what the judge is saying is your client, let them know they're about to lose.
Exactly.
If I'm the client, like,
but it's a public defender.
Right. But you have to resubmit this because you can't write a complete sentence.
I shouldn't go to jail.
Lawyer.
This is who you gave me.
I mean, I want to get a look at that original document just so I can see how terrible it was to where even the judge was like, I got no idea what you're asking me to do here.
Yeah, I mean, like,
You know?
come on, man. You got to get it right.
We stay in the realm of law. A man on trial for murder facing the death penalty had some issues collaborating with his attorney. The accused wanted to approach the case pleading not guilty despite the massive amount of evidence against him, while his attorney wanted to take plea deals in order to attempt to spare his life. Long story short, they fought in court. They lost. He's on death row right now. That's it for headlines. I'm out of here.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time for the Drunken Charge Ryan Castle into Sit and Spin. And the return of the Word, plus profile this in the shot of the day.
Yes, indeed. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.